Hey guys, welcome to Different Background Days, and this is this week's Raw review. I literally just finished watching it, so just how if I just couldn't be bothered to go into the other room and set it all up, so I thought, well, I'll do it here. So got a couple of shout outs first. Reese106 and Rhino to Bell, or Rhino312. Thanks a lot for the support, and thanks to all of you guys that watch these reviews. Really looking forward to Clash of Champions. I think the card is quite interesting, and certainly with some of the announcements made tonight, certainly Charlotte against Bayley against Sasha, to see Bayley and Sasha competing against each other. I know we got it the other week on Raw, but they're always going to hold back to a degree on that. You'd like to think that, the chains are going to be off, if you will, to quote Curtis Axel. And so hopefully they're going to put on one hell of a match. I mean, they could really steal the show. Not only that, Sami Zayn against Chris Jericho. I mean, Sami Zayn's just having just a phenomenal year. I mean, his match against Nakamura, I know, is many people's match of the year contender. And so he's also had great matches against Kevin Owens. And just to see him go one-on-one against Jericho, who is having one of the best years of his career, that could also steal the show. I don't have the highest of hopes for Reigns against Rousseff, but in all fairness, that has been a build for quite a while. Kevin Owens against Seth Rollins could steal the show. I mean, they are both fantastic workers. I can't see Alicia Fox against Nia Jax stealing the show. But who knows? They might surprise us. But yeah, look, this isn't this video. There will be a Clash of Champions preview video. So it'd be wicked if you could check that out when it goes up in a few days' time. But yeah, a lot of matches made on Raw for Clash of Champions. So it all starts off with a weird opening, to tell the truth, because we get Roman come out, then we get Steph, then we get Mick, then we get Owens, then we get Seth Rollins. It's just like all these people coming out. Foley makes Seth against Rusev, which didn't feel like a punishment. They have to fight each week, so they fight each other, who cares? So when he was saying there would be repercussions, it's a bit of a rubbish repercussion, isn't it? And then you get Owens against Roman in a non-title match. How is that fair? Again, that was rubbish. Roman was cheated last week, and now he gets a non-title match. But it was cage match, and I thought that was awesome, absolutely awesome. I was properly on board with that. So it was a bit of a mess of an opener for me, but I was really excited when they announced a cage match. What I struggle with is the fact that they give us a lot of good matches for free on Raw. So the fact that we get Owens against Roman 2 weeks in a row is a bit weird, because that is a pay-per-view quality match. They should kind of really be building up to that. That should be a big thing with a couple of weeks build, but you just get it for free. Here you go. Well, we'll give you this. And then the next week they give it to you again. This time it's a cage match. It's like, God, guys, come on. You've got a network to try and promote here. Some of this stuff would be pretty good if you kept it exclusively onto the network. Now you're just getting cage matches. I don't know. I'm all for Raw being engaging and different and exciting. I absolutely want that. But equally, I don't want the pay-per-views to be these kind of flat, not that special kind of shows just because we get so much on Raw. There is a balance that has to be struck, and I don't know, I struggle with it. Because on the one hand, I'm a fan and I want to see good stuff all the time. But then on the other hand, I do worry that they give us too much on Raw sometimes, and maybe not enough build. So our first match anyway was Rusev against Seth. It was a good match. Nothing amazing. I think the result was right. The double count out. Both guys need to look strong, going into Clash of Champions. And I enjoyed that bit at the end, you know, where they went up to the top of the ramp, and then it looked like Rousseff was going to hurl Seth off, but Seth stops that, and then in the end ends up, I think, was it a crossbody or a double axe handle? I can't quite remember. Not the biggest of spots, not the most dangerous or death-defying of spots, but it doesn't need to be at this stage, does it? You know, I mean, it did a job. It did a job. And so, yeah, then we get that announcement about the women triple threat, which, as I said, mouth-watering. Putting Bayley in the mix, mouth-watering. What I didn't like was Charlotte pushing Dana down, just because, like, it felt a bit weak. You know, she kind of, like, Charlotte was like, like, Hulk smash. Come on. Give me a bit more than that, you know? I want her to be really mean with her words, with her attitude. I want her to really belittle Dana. I want her to humiliate Dana. I want her to, you know, I want Dana to be, like, close to tears. Just like, oh, this isn't working, this Dana-Charlotte dynamic, because I'm not rooting for Dana. That's the problem. I'm not rooting for Dana. It was different with the $1 Million Man and Virgil, because you kind of thought that Virgil had a bit of good in him, and you kind of like, you know, he was getting humiliated, and it was like, don't do that to Virgil. Virgil's a good guy. He needs the money, he needs to, you know, pay the bills and stuff like that. I don't get that vibe with Dana. Dana could walk away. She doesn't have to be with Charlotte, but she chooses to be, and that's where that dynamic is going wrong for me. Surely this is building up towards a match between Dana and Charlotte at some point, but they've got to start booking this a bit better than what they have so far. The fans need to start, you know, empathising towards Dana. Stroman against Sin Cara next. It was a squash, wasn't it? You know, Sin Cara was like a fly, an annoying fly, and Stroman just came along and quite literally swatted him out of the air. I remember Sin Cara, I think did he do a springboard kind of, don't know what it was, don't know what he was going for, springboard crossbody or something. I think Stroman just grabs him midair and slams him down, 1, 2, 3, job done. I don't know where they're going with that. You know, it's the second time we've seen that. Is that the end of that feud, if you want to call it a feud? I don't think it's really done anything for either guy. Then we get Bayley and Sasha against Dana and Charlotte. It was just okay. There wasn't really anything that was amazing. It was just a good match for Raw. Kind of showcased all 4 women. Little bit of back and forth. Charlotte and Dana get the victory. Yeah, you know, there's not a great deal to say about it. It was what it was. I was already invested in that women's match because of the announcement of Bayley being involved. This was just a case to showcase the women for the casual fans, I think. Nice little backstage segment with Seth saying he doesn't understand kind of, you know, what's going on, and Steph kind of said, look, I had nothing to do with what Triple H did, or Hunter as she called him. I had nothing to do with what Hunter did, but I can understand why he did it. You know, maybe he did it because you didn't take the opportunity to get that Universal title. Maybe he did it because you did let the WWE Championship go to SmackDown. Do I think that Owens is now the main man on Raw? Yes, I do. And it was good because there's, you know, it just furthers the division between the Authority, if there is such a thing as the Authority. Where I struggle with this is Steph is being portrayed as a face. And, you know, we're meant to kind of empathise towards Steph now. She's a good person, trying to do the right thing. But then she cuts segments like this. And Seth, you know, Seth hasn't really done anything to kind of come across as a face. Yeah, he's going up against Owens, who quite clearly is a heel. And I think we're meant to be seeing Seth a bit more as a face, but it's these kind of interactions that kind of muddy the water and confuse matters. And I don't know, maybe WWE are doing that on purpose. Perhaps we're moving away from face and heels and now you've just got people. I don't know. Because it must be frustrating for them to have tried everything they've tried to get Roman over and for it to have failed. You know, there's no two ways about it. The crowd are 50-50 at best on Roman Reigns. You either like him or you hate him. And they have really tried a lot of stuff. And yet he still gets booed. So maybe they're just starting to come round to the fact that Owens, who's a heel, who gets cheered. Seth was a heel, he gets cheered. Roman was a face, he gets booed. Let's not bother. Let's not bother with faces and heels. Let's just have people and storylines and just let people, you know, support whoever they want to support and just let it all play out and see where we go from there. I'm kind of starting to get the vibe that's the way they're going. I'm kind of on board with it. It's an interesting approach. Next up, what isn't an interesting approach, Bo Dallas against Gary Graham. I have written awful, because that's exactly what it was. It was awful. He had that little rhyme at the start, which was awful. And there was actually Let's Go Jobber chant, which is one of my favourite chants of the year. I might do my top 5 favourite chants of the year at the end of the year, and I'm fairly confident that's going to feature Let's Go Jobber. Absolutely brilliant. Cesaro against Sheamus. This was a good match. Not saying it was the best of their series, but I think on a Raw that kind of struggled within ring action, this one really stood out. You know, don't forget, we've gone through a squash Braun Strowman match. We've gone through a squash Bo Dallas match. The women's match was pretty standard affair. This is what we needed to see. A good, hard hitting, some nice spots, some brutal spots actually. Some bits on the outside. Sheamus getting hurled over the barricade. Miss Broad kick. Sheamus picks up the victory. It's 3-3. No great surprise, it's 3-3. I think we all saw that as soon as the best of 7 was announced. But that 7th and final match will be at Clash of Champions on Sunday. Will I be glad when this is done? I mean, it's not been the worst. It's not been as bad as I feared, but it might just be that I'm just pleased it's kind of coming to an end now. I can't say I'm desperate for this to go on any longer. It served a purpose. I think that's how I feel about it. It served a purpose. It's kept these two guys busy. They've put on some good matches. It did a job. I do find myself saying that a lot with Raw is did a job, does a job, ticks a box. Rarely do I go, oh, it was absolutely amazing. But I am going to say that in a bit. So then we get the list of Jericho, and I enjoyed this. I thought this was a fun segment, kind of very reminiscent of his when he was going down his list of 1,000 holds, which I enjoyed as well back in the day. I liked how he was jumping around from the numbers. He was like, right, reason number 1 why Foley is bad as his job, blah, 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 blah. Reason number 11, blah, 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 blah. Reason number 20, blah, blah, blah. And he was like skipping out a load of numbers. I didn't like what came next. Out come the Shining Stars, out come Enzo and Big Cass, out come the New Day. I did like the New Day saying, why are we out here? Well, in truth, we've got nothing better to do. It's like, that is exactly how it feels. They just said exactly how it felt. They came out with nothing better to do. Gallows and Anderson come out. Big brawl. You know, Sami Zayn comes out as well. There's big brawl. 10-man tag match made. It was as if Teddy Long had come back and was booking Raw again. So we get this 10-man tag match. Do you know what? It was all right. It was relatively quick. Everyone got a few spots in. It was kind of done. Lovely. Yeah, you got it, again. It was to showcase people before Clash of Champions, that Jericho Sami Zayn match, that New Day against Gallows and Anderson. I wouldn't be surprised if they add Enzo and Big Cass against Shining Stars on the pre-show as well. So yeah, it was to highlight people. It was fine. Really good Eddie Guerrero segment. Really nice. Hispanic Appreciation Month, is it? Something along those lines. Yeah, really, really good. If you've not seen it, I'd urge that you check it out, because it really kind of, within a couple of minutes, portrays the joy of the man, you know, and how entertaining he was and what he achieved, and really enjoyed it. Then we got the Cruiserweights. Now, I've got a grumble about the Cruiserweights. They should have done this as 2 matches, not 1 match. The match was good, very good. Probably the best match on the show, I would say. From in-ring action, you know, it's probably just ahead of like Sheamus and Cesaro. There's some great spots, but it was nowhere near the standard of what we saw in the CWC. And the reason for that was because I think it was the first one. It was live. It was 4 guys in a fatal 4-way, and I just think it was a case of, right, go out and do it now. And it's not the easiest thing to just go out and do it. You know, it was a good match. Lots of good spots. There was obviously a standing 450. There was a lumbar check. There was submission holds. Grand Metalik just flipping all over the place. I think the problem though was that this had been hyped a lot, and the CWC had kind of built everything up, and so my expectations were through the roof, and they were always going to struggle to get there, and they didn't even get close to my expectations. They are going to smash it in the future. I've got no doubts about that. But yeah, it just couldn't do it on this Raw. And I think it would have been better if they would have had 2 singles matches, and then have the final kind of match for the number 1 contender on the pre-show. And then that's where you get, you know, the winner advancing to face TJP on the actual Clash of Champions card. I think that way you can invest more in the people, you can talk more about the people. The audience only have to focus on 2 new guys rather than 4 new guys. And it wouldn't have felt as cluttered maybe as what it did. Don't get me wrong, still enjoyed it. And in fact, got a reaction video up, so check it out if you haven't already, and you'll see I was enjoying it. But yeah, it just couldn't reach my lofty expectations, but it was still a good match, really good match. And then it was announced Nia Jax will go up against Alicia Fox. I should just say as well, Brian Kendrick won that, and I was a bit disappointed because I'm not the biggest Brian Kendrick fan. I don't hate on him. I'm not a hater. But I just would have preferred Rich Swann or Cedric Alexander. They are much more to my taste. I think both of those guys really shone for me in the CWC. And I just felt in the CWC that Brian Kendrick was hanging on quite a bit. There was quite a few matches where he was second best, but he found a way of getting through. And that's great quality to have, but there were just others that I preferred. So I can't say that I'm massively excited for TJ Perkins, who I didn't want to win the Cruiserweight Classic, up against Brian Kendrick, who I didn't think was that good in the Cruiserweight Classic. He had some great moments, and it's hard, isn't it? It's really hard. But I would be much more excited if Rich Swann or Cedric Alexander had advanced. And now that brings us to the segment that I will call awesome. The cage match. Owens against Reigns. Samoan drops, German suplexes, Superman punches, pop-up power bombs. Wasn't the best match on the card, right? But it was a good match. But it's what happened after. So Owens goes out the door. Reigns goes over the top. Reigns wins by milliseconds. Haven't got a problem with it. It was a non-title match. Frankly, who cares? But Rousseff comes down, hurls Reigns back in, gets him in the accolade, and then out comes Seth. It was awesome, because I know Seth wasn't out to save Roman. He was out there to get to Kevin Owens and to disrupt the show, and Seth's kind of being built up a bit like Stone Cold. He's going against the authority on the show. He's going against the show, and he's going to do things his way. Wicked. I'm totally on board with that. But the fact that he came down whilst Roman was getting, beaten up, he didn't have to. He could have let Roman get beaten up, waited for that to finish, and then came down. But he came down at that time, and it was teased, that he was coming down, and it's like, just the memories come flashing back. It's been a few years now that we've had like a face Seth, if that's what he can be called, and the Shield. It's getting ever closer. Rumours everywhere that it's happening at Survivor Series. I'm keeping everything crossed that does come true. I think that'd be insane. They have to book it. So I'd love that. But he came down. He climbs up the cage. He gets at the top of the cage, and then he jumps off the top with a crossbody. It's like Superfly Jimmy Snuka moment. Absolutely wicked. Loved it. And again, I've got a reaction video on that. I don't want to just plug all my reaction videos, but man, you'll see I was freaking, because it was a great moment. I was proper invested in it, and I think it's just so exciting as to where we're going. It's like, what does the future hold? And I can see the Shield. And I can see it starting to come together, and that's... How do you not get excited for that? So yeah, Clash of Champions card anyway. Nia Jax against Alicia Fox. Sami Zayn against Chris Jericho. Sheamus against Cesaro in that final match of the 7 series. New Day against Gallows and Anderson. TJ Perkins against Brian Kendrick. Rousseff against Roman. Charlotte against Sasha against Bayley. Owens against Seth. I think that is a fantastic card. Really looking forward to Clash of Champions. I hope you guys can join me for reactions and previews and reviews of that. I'll be all over that. Awesome. Let me know your thoughts. Drop it in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, really would appreciate it if you could. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed Raw. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't amazing. Did a job. Bye for now.